Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Good. Well, still evening. It's still technically Tuesday, so don't need the earphones today because we do not have a co-host today because he is feeling under the weather. How is everybody doing? Welcome to Open Topic Tuesday. Something is seriously wrong with StreamYard tonight because I can't even see myself live on my devices that I'm looking at right now. So there's a good chance that most of you right now are not even watching this live because you haven't gotten your notification. Up there it goes. Oh, no, that's not it yet. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think it's because of when I stream. Maybe just YouTube and StreamYard just don't want me to stream late at nights. They just want me to stream during banker hours. I'll turn that around. It's my Dodger hat. There you go. Well, welcome to which, like I said, this is going to be a normally scheduled thing, Open Topic Tuesday. So Thursday we'll have some topics. Tuesdays will be open topics. Saturday will be the Saturday Overnight Live show, and then Sunday will be the weekend wrap-up show, unless we decide we are going to watch a particular show or things like that. So I think Anthony was in there. Hi, Anthony. You're the Australian I haven't seen in a while. I'm looking for my other Aussie. She must not have gotten a notification. Yeah, it does not seem like the notifications are going out right now. I'm like, let's see. Let me see if I'm live. Oh, Chappie got the notification. William, can we do Cloverfield watch along on Thursday at midnight? I'm going to be busy around. I don't know if I can do it at midnight. Let's see. I'm actually going to be available much earlier. Midnight, whose time? Are we talking about midnight my time? Because you're on East Coast time, Chappie. So let me know what you mean. Well, let me fix There's been a lot of changes and stuff that YouTube has been making, and along with StreamYard, and a lot of them, some of them are really cool things. Some of them are like really weird. Some of them are affecting a lot of it, and not just like YouTube. Nobody's like me with like already got a small viewership to begin with, but a lot of the guys I know that have like thousands and thousands and thousands of viewers are seeing with weird things happening. So, I don't think the platform is favoring live anymore because a lot of people use ad blockers, and it's harder to use ad blockers. It's a lot easier to get ad revenue in on shorts than it is on things like this. but because you can build it into the actual format. Here, you really can't. You have to break up, things. So I think they're trying to do things to go around ad blocking, things like that. I pay for YouTube Premium, so if I watch your content, you're getting my money that way. But yeah, I'm not a real fan of the way things are, because there are shows. We've been putting on some really good content, and the views are different because of the way the algorithm is. And a lot of people, I thought it was me at first, and then I looked it up, and a lot of people are going through it. A lot of people are trying to figure out ways around it. And then notifications and things like that, those don't always go out. It seems like it's regional sometimes. I don't know. I have people watching in other countries like Australia that are getting a notification, and me, the host of the show, is not getting a notification. So it's weird. I am. You know what? I haven't been taking advantage of that. Thanks for reminding me. I have to start doing the landscape. That's another thing YouTube changed, because they realize a lot of people are watching from their phones. They realize that. I mean, in some cases, the majority of people are watching from their phones. So that horizontal format, or that vertical format is favorable. I did it a lot before, and people started complaining because they were getting confused. And I'm like, what's the confusion? You're either going to watch this one, or you're going to watch this one. So I'm going to start probably on my next stream, which will be Thursday. We'll probably experiment with that again and see what's going on there. So, Hunter, your question, William, what's your thoughts on Christina Hudson return to write Batman Brave and Bold? Well, I don't really. I need to hear it from somebody besides Jeff Snyder before I go live with it. Christina Hudson, I mean, she's kind of mixed. She's done some stuff that wasn't a big fan of, and she's done some stuff that I have been a fan of. So I'm fine with it. Especially, under the direction of Andy Muschietti. I'll take a wait and see attitude on her. $11 a.m. So what? All right. Okay, but you're wanting to do Cloverfield. When you say midnight, are you talking about midnight your time? Because midnight your time for us would be 9. So are you wanting to do it 9? I mean, clarify for me, Chappie. Duckman, what's going on? Yeah, it looks like we're starting to get the notifications going up. That's good. All right, perfect. Hold on. Hi, I have 2 Aussies in here. Let's see. Where's Droga? I want my Aussie triad up in here. Man, William, what do you make of the Zack Snyder Dark Knight Returns Netflix movie rumors? Any smoke? I think right now it's speculation. I know he has said that he has he's if he ever does another DC thing, it will be a standalone, unaffiliated Dark Knight thing. I would love to see that. I mean, I would love to see anything DC that the man does. I've enjoyed pretty much everything that he's done DC. So I would love to see that. But right now, for as far as I know, Dan, it's only speculation. I know some of my fellow streamers have been posting about it, but I don't know where they're getting, their information from. But I would love that. But right now, I think it's just speculation until I say otherwise. Troll 1000, how you doing? Hey, Troll, I got a new ladder at the center. I need help testing out once you come down here, buddy. So 11 o'clock my time. Let me see, because I'm going to be on Thursday. I'm going to be streaming earlier from the store, from the center. So I may be able to pull that off. Let me see. Yeah, I saw that. I did order those. Yeah, I am. I didn't over order on those Starfleet comic books because I didn't know. Be honest with you, I ordered them just to have them in the store, but those are going to be coming out in April. So I put my supplier. I sent them a picture and I check marked them off there. Um, my I ordered enough just to see how it goes because I'm still feeling out the process for the show. I'm still getting, seeing how people are responding to the show, and so far so good. Yeah, you have your haters out there, but there's been a surprising amount of people that have been, you know, even some of the older fans that I always bag on Trek old Trek fan, but even some of those guys, and they're being honest. Listen, some of them like it. It's not perfect. They got some gripes with it, but the people who don't like it, I'm actually hearing some actual legitimate criticism of what they don't like. And you know what? Maybe they'll stick around and it'll turn a corner for them. But yeah, I am going to be supporting that show with any merchandise. What I do want is the Starfleet outfit that Tig Notaro wears. Her outfit. I want them all wearing that outfit. I want all the Starfleet officers and enlisted wearing that outfit. That's her outfit. Let me see if I can find her. As soon as I saw that, I love that. Even if I didn't like the show, I want I want that outfit. Like, where is she at? I mean, yeah, I've seen a couple of different ones on here, but there's one for her. And I thought it was really cool, and I'm seeing if I can get my costume maker to make one for the store. Where's I'll find hers. It's really nice. I'm like I said, I really want to get it. Potential tracking. Okay, trying to find it on here. It's really nice. It's got like the diagonal stripes going on it. Now she's wearing one here that's really one of them that the one I saw. I keep seeing in the promos. I don't like, but she's got one that is like it's got the diagonal line. I'm trying to find it because it's really cool. It seems like they're not. They have. Here it is. Seems like they haven't settled on what they want their uniforms to look like, but I like this one. Let me bring this up here for you guys. That uniform up, not that uniform right there is really cool. I really like that, and I want to see what the other branches look like. It's got a nice little, thing going up there. It's the logo for the ship. If you notice, the logo on her collar is actually the ship. It's the shape of the ship, so I really like seeing that. So, I want to see all of them wearing that uniform. So hopefully, Starfleet, if you're listening, there we go. Ooh, my head's too big. There we go. I really tried to watch Star Trek, but the OC, but it's just not made for them. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, you gave it a shot. It wasn't for you. I can completely respect that. Happy 30th. Is that today? That 1996. When was it? Wow, that was released. Fuck, I'm getting old. God damn. The 90s is 30 years ago. Jesus, man. $1996. Oh, wow. Oh, it was released a couple of days ago. So it would have been released 2 days ago. But you know what? That's a movie we can discuss because we're not just doing 1986. We're doing 1996. Obviously, Independence Day is going to be one of those. So yeah, I have not seen Night Patrol. That's right, man. I'll hold the ladder while you climb up and then we'll end your session with my pants, which is really not a dude to dude thing we should be doing. Jose, what's going on? I think you're my New Zealander. Are you my New Zealander? Quick thoughts on Sinners since I watched it for the first time a day ago. Cougar finds beauty, cinematic, in the evil that is going on. I just didn't know what he was trying to say. Wow. If you look at Sinners, it's really about freedom. It's about freedom. The entire theme of Sinners is about freedom. You're talking about a story that takes place in 1931 in Delphi, Mississippi, the height of Jim Crow, the height of racism in the South. We're less than 100 years from the end of slavery. Even though there are no longer slaves in the South, it's still, you're not free to roam. You saw the situation that they were dealing with. They were starting the club to have something of their own. And that's what it was about, having a place to be free and be yourself. That club, that was the happiest they were. And remember at the end when Buddy Guy's character, Sammy, when he just before us, I think it was Stack walks out with what's her face's character, Haley Mary. He says, you know what, I wake up at least once a week paralyzed with fear of that night. But you know what? Before the sun went down, it was the best day of my life. And he asked Stack, he's like, do you agree? He's like, no, without a doubt. It was the last time I saw my brother. It was the last time I saw the sunlight. And for just a moment, just for one moment, one night, we were free. So the whole theme of it is about their desire to be free and what freedom is. So that's what I get from it, Jose. I hope that helps. Fly. Oh, you talking about the Fly? Oh, the Fly is going to be another one. By the way, when we do our show this Saturday, guys, it'll actually be a little bit later. But when we do our show this Saturday, we're actually going to cover two. We'll cover two movies, probably one from '86, one from '96, and songs from there because or both from '86. It's going to be a lot because like I said, the more I dive into 1986, and I lived 1986, there's just a lot there that I took for granted that happened in that year. Yeah, yesterday was the 30th anniversary. Creepiest scene in movie history for me is that center scene where they're moving in unison and singing and dancing. The first time the vampires try to get in. Are you talking about the river dance that they were doing with Remick, the head vampire? Or are you talking about the one that they were where all the black folks were dancing inside the club itself? Which one? I know the dancing, the Rocky Road to Dublin when they're dancing. I don't know. Wow, that was just a different scene. I actually when I went to go see it, there were people in the audience dancing to that shit. But it was just crazy. William, what do you think of Joe Rogan, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon appearance when Matt Damon states a mandate that to continuously emphasize plot points for their movie is the future of entertainment geared towards ADD? I don't know, man. I did not watch that show. I tend to steer clear of Joe Rogan personally, but I know they were on there. But no, I think the movie industry in general has to keep people's attention, no matter it's ADD or not, because there's not just because of ADD, because there's just so much going on right now. There's so much going on in the world. There's so many other options. As these new forms of entertainment come out, the movie theaters and the industry need to be able to react and adjust in order to keep the attention of even non-ADD people. Because, back when I was a kid, we know video games were a couple years off as far as like Nintendos and any of these Wii's and all these things that you guys have now. The movie, it wasn't hard for a movie to get your attention. Now we got digital cable, we got the internet, we got TikTok, we got so many things. And we not just only have these things, we spend hours on these things. We spend hours on the internet. We spend hours playing video games. We spend hours on social media. So movies, film industry has to adjust to that. They have to keep up with that in some ways. I was 9 years old when Dust and Dawn came out. I was 21. I was 21 when Dust and Dawn came out. No problem, man. No problem. You were born in 1986? Ooh, wow. Happy 40th. Or impending 40th. It's all down there from there, man. You get that Metamucil. I'm not even bringing up your comment for this. Very first man and woman. Oh, when they were singing, when he had the first two from the clan house. Okay. No, TNA's got a long way to go. I think the most important thing when it comes to TNA and TNA fans, which I am one of, I've been a fan of TNA since day one. Their very first thing that they ever did when they were doing pay-per-views every week, I was getting those pay-per-views every week watching TNA and all the way through. So TNA from 2002 all the way till now, I've been a fan, even when no one else was watching it, even though everybody thought it was going to be dead and just all these other things. And I've been stuck in, I have, I don't have it here, but you guys have seen my TNA belt. I go to live TNA events when they come out here in Vegas. I've been to pay-per-views here in Vegas. I'm a huge supporter. What I think people need to stop doing is trying to compare them to AEW and trying to put them against AEW. What TNA needs to do is grow within themselves. And that was a rough first show. The production values weren't there. The stories weren't there. Now, granted, they had visa issues and they also lost a lot of personnel. They lost the Rascals and there's certain other people to that, night. And then they lost Leon Slater because WWE wanted him. I think that we're getting to a point where I don't know if the WWE partnership is doing them good. It would be different if you were talking about getting mainline talent on there, but you're getting NXT people, and it's a one-way deal. There was a time where I was all for it because any exposure is good exposure, but they're going to have to establish themselves, all by themselves eventually. They can't just be a farm hand for WWE. So, but yeah, it was their first show, and hopefully the people who watch that show, watch it and do what we call in the Army. When I was in the Army, actually after action review, fix the holes, fix the things, and I'll be watching this Thursday to see if they've made an improvement. That's going to be the important thing. Having a bad day at the office is not devastating. It's not the end of the world. It's how you respond to it and how you fix what may not have been working well. When Sammy pierces the veil with his music and they show all the different genres of music throughout the years, that scene gives me goosebumps. Yeah, because you're seeing like rappers and DJs and heavy metal and all kinds of stuff that obviously doesn't exist there. So I would like. I don't necessarily need another sequel to Sinners, but I would like to explore the lore of Sinners. Because it doesn't have to be another vampire movie. I mean, there's a lot of things that she was talking about before the. I would like to see him freezing again. I would like to see that explored. I remember in the late 2000s in Auror's video games were looked at as competitive storytelling to movies. Well, a lot of them were, and you can shape the outcome. A movie you go to see, a video game you can literally shape the outcome. And now with the advent of network video games, in the last 15, 20 years, I mean, I know people who play for hours and hours and hours on end. They work they take care of the basic stuff, and then they're on these games, and then you can see on YouTube, a lot of streamers are playing these games, and a lot of people are interested in it. And you know, back in the day, a good percentage of that time was going to the movies and watching TV shows. But you know, video games have now occupied a much larger swath than they did, you know, when I was a kid. Do I have a cat? What's that sound? No, that is my massage chair that you can't see because it's behind me. You can kind of hear it. It's going. If that's the sound you're talking about, that's it. Yeah. Because I have a heat pad on. Yeah, you can't really see it. Yeah. There it is. You can kind of see it in the background. The thing is pulled off of it. Let's see. Do you think we could also do the watch along Total Recall Director Cut Sunday on Sunday your time 12, or do you? Yeah, that one's gonna be. We're gonna have to, like I said, Thursday and Friday. I'm available for most of the day. It all depends on where I do the show from, because we have our normal show on Thursday, and you know we don't have a show on Friday, but I also have the vodka stream on Friday. So we got to figure it out. I don't want to go too late because I don't want to get pinned at the store. I want to do the show and leave and then get here. But I got other times during the first week of February, Chappie, to where we can do it during, you know, we can do it from here. Because first week of February, I'm going to be spending most of my time here. I have Gage running the center for a couple of days. I'm going to be building out and doing a lot of cleaning up here at the home office and getting it set up so that I can start doing more effective streams from here. So you might want to look at the first week of, and that's only next week, week after next week. You might want to look at that and see where we can go there. I enjoy a lot of Michael Bay films. I know people, you know, make fun of it because just a bunch of explosions and high speed chases, but you know what? Sometimes that's all I want. Sometimes I just want to go to the movies to see shit blow up, people get their asses beat, hot chicks, fast cars, explosions. But for the most part, he makes movies I like. I mean, I enjoy him. They're not some of his movies are not the deep introspective movies, but I don't need that. Not every movie needs to be The Godfather. But you look at his resume: Bad Boys, The Rock, Armageddon, Pearl Harbor was cheese, Bad Boys 2, The Island kind of sucked, Transformers. His first Transformers was epic. I loved his first Transformers. After that, it started to wane. Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, things like that. Even though they were $1 billion movies, it kind of tailed off. Ambulance was kind of lame. And then he's got one coming out. Let's see. I mean, you know, I look at his Rotten Tomatoes rate scoring since it's kind of mid, but I don't really look at that. But I'm a fan of most of his stuff. I mean, Bad Boys is classic stuff. I mean, I enjoy him. And The Rock, I mean, Sean Connery. So yeah, I actually I'm mostly favorable to Michael Bay's filmography. It's not that good a movie. It's Scarlett Johansson and Ewan McGregor in that movie. I watched that movie in deployment. I watched a burned copy of that because they didn't have any laws over there, and we were bored of that, and it wasn't that good. No, Blade Runner 2049 has become my favorite movie of all time. The Godfather is up there along with Blade Runner and Godfather 2. I've only seen Shogun once. You're talking about the Shogun on Hulu. I've only seen it once. As far as working on a Superman movie, I thought the last Superman movie, the 2025 one, was fine. Cinematography. I'm not. I have to actually see it in order to have an opinion on it. Cinematography is like one of those CGI type of things on it. If it wows me once I've seen it, then I notice it. But otherwise, you know, I don't have an opinion on it. I've been reading that a lot of TNA fans are peeved that it was been put against AEW and they feel that TNA has been used. Well, TNA fans. You are being used. You're being used by WWE. The only reason why that partnership exists is so that AEW wouldn't have access to that pipeline of talent. That's it. That's the only reason it exists. Yeah, that's the only reason that partnership exists. I know why TNA would do it because of the exposure, but as far as WWE, they're doing it so that the talent pipeline, if they have that partnership, it goes. They figure, okay, when it's time for me to leave TNA, I'm going to it's automatically perceived that you're going to go to WWE because of the explosion on it. But that didn't happen because the Rascals went to AEW and they were in TNA. Josh Alexander was in that TNA. He went to AEW. But yeah, it's really to put a stranglehold on the talent pool that is coming through TNA and keeping it from coming to AEW. And but yeah, that's what it was. It was if you're a TNA fan, you were being used, and TNA was being used, and they were happy to be used because even NXT, I don't watch the only time I watched NXT was when TNA talent was on there. But it was still a bigger audience. Like Joe Hendry showing up with the TNA title 2 days after I got his belt signed by him, by the way. That's huge exposure for your company. How many people were watching WrestleMania? And now each and every one of them, is Googling TNA. So when it was handled right, then you had like when Jade, before she signed with WWE, when Jordan Grace, she showed up as TNA Women's Champion, on WrestleMania or Royal Rumble. So those are big events for them, but at the same time, it hasn't been much else afterwards. Yeah, they just lost me. They just lost me after a while. Let's see. Question 1: what are your thoughts on Powerhouse F going to main roster? Same feeling as I have with anybody going on the WWE roster. I just don't think it's a very good product right now. And, I'm looking at Jade Cargill, who has the look and everything else. Her entire run with AEW was just to get to WWE, which is fine. She's got a world title she hasn't defended in almost 3 months. Ethan Page left TNA to go to there, and it's like the witness protection program. Mariah May was a world champion in AEW. I don't know what's going on with her, and everybody has to go through NXT, and it's like NXT. I mean, you have people that have wrestled all over the world in front of thousands of people, and because WWE doesn't think that's on their level, they put them in their developmental thing, and it's like, if you're Powerhouse Hobbs, I mean, he's got the look. He's a big guy. WWE likes big guys, but there's a logjam at the top of WWE. So you're signing new talent, and you're going to keep featuring guys like CM Punk, and Seth Rollins, all those guys. I thought Braun Breaker, I thought he was going to be the different one. I thought he was going to break through, but didn't happen. So yeah, I wish Powerhouse Hobbs the best. I just haven't seen WWE handle those type of things in a way that I actually have much hope. No, I did not wrestle. Once I got hit a couple times, and when I tried out for football, I'm like, we're not doing this. So no contact for it. Some dudes are big, and half the guys that were hitting you on the football field were on the wrestling team. So yeah, you can talk about some big corn-fed fools. So, no, we didn't. Hearing my skeletal system snap wasn't on the top of my list. Where is Kenny Omega wrestling currently? AEW. Do you buy into the hype of some calling him the greatest wrestler ever? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I put him as far as the GOAT goes. I definitely put him up there, and I can buy into that hype because I've seen him wrestle. As far as what are what are some of his what are his signature standout match? Will Ospreay and uh, Will Ospreay for the U.S. title at Wrestle Kingdom 18. The rematch with Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door 2. The one Okada Omega, one of the greatest matches of all time, no matter what federation you're talking about. He had a recent match at last Wrestle Kingdom 19 with Gabe Kidd, which is one of the best matches I've seen in the last 10 or 15 years. And I actually got to walk up to Gabe Kidd and tell him that what I thought of that match. So yeah, he's got several. Tanahashi. His match with Tanahashi, his match with for the U.S. title with Chris Jericho when Chris Jericho was resurrecting his career. Kenny Omega's got a lot. There's a reason why they call him the best bout machine. So yeah, he's got a lot, and yeah, I can buy into the argument that he's the greatest wrestler of all time. I don't know if I'm ready to put him there yet, but he's in a small pantheon. Pretty much. I have a face for radio, but here it is. Skeletal Snap. Probably already named. There's no way that's not a name of a van already. All right, guys. So yeah, this will be the normal. I'm actually going to come up with a different thumbnail because we're using the old Midnight Express open Q&A one. I'm going to go ahead and change that to Open Topic Tuesday, and I'll create like a little graphic for me and everything else. But what went on today? So we had Netflix verifying that they're going to do an all cash deal for the for Warner Brothers, which in my opinion puts an end to that this nonsense. Well, what else happened today? Nothing really big happened today. I mean, I guess we should. I mean, I should, be happy that nobody of note, passed away that I know of today. Today was a pretty chill Tuesday. Tuesday has been pretty just basic lately, which is fine. I guess we'll that because the opposite people whining about the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are going to be a reason why there's a salary cap. Fuck out of here with that. Get the fuck out of here with that. Yeah, you put a salary cap in baseball. Dodgers are still going to win because they run their organization smarter than anybody. You think they're not going to be able to maneuver around a salary cap? You're insane. Let's see. And then the players are not going to buy a salary cap, and every time you have one of these work stoppages or lockouts, the owners don't want to lose any more money, and the players don't blink. So there you go. Brad came down. He said he came down with a bug, pussy. So he'll be back on Thursday. Yeah, that was a good match too. I don't think that's near his top match, but it's a really good match. I liked it. It's a little slow in the uptake on the beginning, but that's Game of Thrones for you. Game of Thrones is known for getting things started slowly and methodically and making sure that they have all the pieces in place, and then bam, they hit you with everything. You got a computer mouse? Congratulations. Was it a wireless one or? Yeah, if we do them earlier, it's kind of late to do an open panel. This is really, like I said, we air this show because of my schedule and other obligations. We air this show like at midnight. It's really, most people watch this show later on during the day, like when I'm asleep or when I'm, doing other things. I don't know if doing open panels at 1 o'clock in the morning is the best thing. Some of them. Do I like Jim Cornette's wrestling thing? Some of them. Sometimes he's off his rockers. Sometimes he's dead on. It's like Eric Bischoff. Sometimes Eric Bischoff is dead on. Sometimes you can just hear his bias, dude. But so it all depends on what the take is. But he's got a I grew up watching Jim Cornette with his tennis racket in the Midnight Express. So. Thoughts on George R.R. Martin being kicked off the House of Dragons? I don't know if he was kicked off. He wasn't kicked off. It's just that the showrunner just stopped. They just stopped talking. You got. I mean, I can understand that because the showrunner is trying to make a TV show, and he's got to be allowed to do that. So. F Wireless Mouse. I'm old school. Wired like a gamer used to be. Wired Mouth like the world. Ric Flair. Ric Flair. It's the most famous wrestler I've ever met. Yeah, Slick Rick is the most famous wrestler I ever met. There I am. I've met him twice. This is the first time. I'm smiling here, but I'm not happy here. We found out that Ric Flair was coming down to Planet 13, which is where they sell a lot of the legalized weed and all the sweets and stuff are out there. And he has his own line of energy drink or something like that. He was down there to promote that. And I got down there early. There's my belt, my big gold. And I as soon as I got that made, there were just 3 signatures I wanted on that belt: Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, and Sting. I have 2 of those 3 now. But this day, I waited in line. I was the first one there. I waited in line. And there were people dressed up in robes, Ric Flair robes, and had their belts with them too, only to be told right as we were lining up that he was only going to take pictures with us and he was not going to be signing things. I was kind of pissed off then, but then I found out why is because he has contracts where he is paid to sign, at events. And if he just signs everywhere, then it, devalues what the people have paid him. So that was fine. And that's why at WrestleCon, maybe 4 months in April of that year, I got my belt signed by Ric Flair when he was there. Cost me a lot to get it done, but I really wanted to get it done. And but yeah, Ric Flair is the most famous wrestler that I have ever met. So there you go. That was an easy one to answer. Now, Okada's up there too. Okada is more globally renowned than he is here in the States. So there you go. Yeah, Ric Flair. When I was growing up, Ric Flair was like going to church on Saturdays. NWA every Saturday at 3 p.m. Ric Flair would go out and give his speeches, and it was just like I said, it was like going to church on Saturday. Yeah, I was a forced smile. I mean, I was happy to meet Ric Flair, shook his hand, got my belt in the picture, but I really wanted to get that thing signed. Yeah, Ric Flair. Ric Flair influenced a lot of genres. Rap was one of them. The Woo. I mean, all that stuff. He's an icon. He is the icon. He is. Anytime you talk about a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, he has to be on it. It has to be. And that's why the Mount Rushmore discussion is not fair because it's more than 4 or 5 people that built the sport. But obviously, Hulk Hogan is on there. Ric Flair is on there. Vince McMahon has to be on there, even though he's not conducted himself as somebody who belongs anywhere recently, but you don't have a lot of the modern day wrestling without what he did. So yeah, but Ric Flair is the easy one on that list. All right, guys, we got about 11 more minutes, so I go eat and probably just listen to some music. I think I'm going to listen to Iron Maiden. I'm going to pick an album. Last night I did Metallica. I did Injustice for All, and I just listened to it all the way through. No stopping anything. Just listen to it all the way through. I think this morning after I eat, I'm just going to have Somewhere in Time just blasting through my ears, from beginning to end. Rational Williams, sports are coming in that Chris. Yeah, somebody asked me about Crystal Hodson is riding the Brave and the Bold and is causing fighting amongst DC fans on Twitter. All I have to say is nothing is 100% to the merger. Well, that's going to happen with or without the merger. She's not. Let's bring up her I mean, she's a mix of bags sometimes, but she's done. I mean, Birds of Prey sucked. Okay, I got it. Is that her? Who wrote that? Is that what? Yeah. She wrote Birds of Prey. That movie sucked. I'm sorry. So let's see what we got here though. She does not bad. She wrote Bumblebee. I like Bumblebee. She wrote the Flash. I like the Flash. Agent Burns, Welcome to Sarah. I didn't see that. That's a short film. Unforgettable. Shut In. I mean, she only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. Birds of Prey, I wasn't a fan on. I haven't seen Agent Burns. I like Bumblebee. So, I mean, the majority of things that I saw, I mean, she did the screenplay. Yeah, she did the screenplay for The Flash. I'm not opposed to her. I mean, that's like her. She hasn't done enough movies for me to grow, a hate boner for her. So. I did that one a while back. Tool. I love that album. That's their best album in my opinion. So, you know what? When it comes to Pink Floyd, if I go cover to cover on a Pink Floyd album, it's got to be The Wall. The Wall to me is the absolute peak of Pink Floyd. I mean, I've listened to everything Pink Floyd. But The Wall, from one song after another, a lot of it is because that was the first Pink Floyd I've ever heard. Teacher, leave those kids alone. That was the first Pink Floyd I ever heard, and I was like 5 or 6 when I heard that. So that left an impression. You miss nothing, in my opinion. You miss nothing. Yeah, and remember the circumstances that everybody working on that movie had to put up with. So. William, what I mean is I don't know what direction Netflix wants to go with DC. We're told things will stay the same. Okay, here's the thing about the difference between, I think this is just me, speaking, and that one is those people, their resume kind of sucked. There was no continuity there. There was no continuity to preserve when you're talking about Hamada, Emmerich, Sarnoff, all those guys. There was nothing to preserve. And it was a lot easier for them to come in with something new and different. This time, you actually have something in place that has some type of continuity plan, and you also have Netflix, an entity right now that I don't think that they don't want to be. They're not buying this to control it in that manner. They're buying it to add to their catalog and to add to their revenue. I haven't seen any signs of them replacing James Gunn at this point. They've said that all the heads of various departments, Abdi, DeLuca, and Gunn, would stay in place. So could they come in? But they don't have. They're not set up to do anything cinematically like that. I think they're just going to leave those people in place. And I hope they do, because like I said before, I share the same fears that a lot of people is. I just don't feel like investing any more time and then having it ripped out from under me because there's a new sheriff in town. I have not heard, and we know Rational, if next week we come by or we start hearing that there's a overlord or somebody over James Gunn, a buffer between him and we start hearing there's personnel changes, then we have something to talk about. But right now, as we sit here, we don't have anything to be concerned about that they've put out there. I would like to see a long-term contract. I've been saying this for years, that if he has a 10-year plan, then there should be a contract that rolls alongside it. But right now, they don't own the company, and it's going to be almost a year before they do. And by that time, these things will be in development. And until I see Netflix start appointing people over him or in lieu of him, then I'm not gonna speculate on how Netflix would affect James Gunn's plans yet. As we get closer to the completion of the merger and they legally take over, then maybe we'll have a different conversation. But right now, I don't know there's a reason for concern yet. You know what? Like I've always said, when it comes to movies and think they hit us in a different way. You know, Dark Side of the Moon is where my mind, one of the bands that, you know, I very first bands I heard that developed my mind when it came to music was that song and that album. So everybody's going to come differently. I mean, there's no wrong answer. If you like Dark Side of the Moon, I know Dark Side of the Moon is considered by many people as Pink Floyd's best effort. I mean, I like it, and I like playing it alongside a Wizard of Oz because it's hilarious. But for me, it's the Wall, you know. Yeah, and that's fine. And like I said, I don't have a negative opinion about her. I mean, she did a movie I didn't like, but she's involved in a movie that I did like. 2 movies. I like Bumblebee. So there's just not enough sampling for me to like cringe when I hear her name. You know. So yeah, I think she'll be fine. If I could make a suggestion to James Gunn so far, what would it be? Exploit the Elseworlds. Exploit them. They are the strength of DC. DC's diversity and storytelling and realities is the strength of DC. You're seeing it now. They have spent 3.5 decades, or they spent 3.5 decades shunning it and thinking that fans were too stupid to understand multiple universes, multiple realities, when in fact we were not. So you look at what Scott Snyder is doing with Absolute DC, with DCKO, with All In. You're seeing that a lot of these kick-ass stories can take place alongside each other. And second bit of advice is please do not embrace this one universe at a time shit. It's a trash mentality. And I think James Gunn, as a collector, he probably already knows that, you know, without even having to hear a bit of me. But yeah, embrace Elseworlds and use it, brand it. It gives you a lot of freedom, and never do this one universe at a time shit again. That's what I would tell them. We TNA fans have been through a lot. You know, we're very resilient. Like I said, I've been there since day one, moment one, minute one. We've been through the Dixie Carter era. We've been through the Main Event Mafia era. We've been through the show being bounced on. The show was on the Travel Channel at one time. It was on Spike, being moved all over the world, being on Access where nobody could watch it. The die-hard TNA fans, we've been through a lot. So this is nothing. Listen, the good news is you're on TV. And right now, AMC doesn't have a real needle as far as like what success in wrestling is yet. And so they're not, they were said to have been pleased what happened on the other night. So I think TNA is going to be fine. It's just going to have to grow. And then here's me with Moose at a TNA event. I think this was I forgot. I think this was Rebellion. This was when I first got my TNA belt made, and I got it signed by Moose, and I've also got it signed by Joe Hendry too. So no, us TNA fans, we'll be all right. With the ones that were here, the ones that came along, you know, recently, maybe they're having some issues, but not us. We're good. I just don't see anything today musically that will stand the test of time. Who's going to be the next Michael Whitney, Mariah today? Well, you got Taylor Swift. Not a Swiftie by any means. She's got some catchy tunes. I wouldn't go out and pay to see her or buy any of her stuff, but when I'm walking through like a Walmart or, at a depot or something like that, and I hear, what's the song? Is it Anti-Hero, something like that? You know, the video where she's a giant. I mean, that's a catchy tune. She's got a couple catchy tunes. Like I said, I would not pay $1 to see her or hear her, but she's big, she's global, she's selling out stadium. So you have her. As far as generational impact goes, I don't know, because we take our music in differently. We get it's hard to have a generational impact when we're back to doing what we did pre MTV days, which is basically put ourselves in our own bubble and only listen to certain things. Not as many people listen to the radio as much as when you had those generational impacts. In order to have a generational impact, you have to affect the entire generation. And if we're all just, listening to our own playlist, it's a little harder to have that type of impact. When MTV was being brought forth, when radio started to merge, hip hop and rock and everything else, and you just had pop going on, then we all were affected by the Michael Jacksons and the David Bowies. But now it seems like we've gone back into our silos. So you're right, we may not have another wave like that. But then again, this stuff swings around. So well, all I'm saying is trade scoopers. There we go. If you've noticed, Rational, I've tried to be really disciplined in referring to trades and scoopers. You guys know, if you watched our show for any great length of time, how I feel about the trades, and it's not a good feeling. When it comes to scoopers, we don't bring scoopers up on the show. The reason why is because the scooper's job usually is to get things out first. It's not always necessarily accurate. Some of these guys are accurate. Some of these guys are not. Some of them are as good as the information they have access to. But as far as like believing in any of these things, what have I always said? If it's not coming from the horse's mouth, I don't want to hear it. And I think we would be better as an internet society if we didn't necessarily get caught up in all that, because all it takes, you can really take the momentum out of something special by hearsay and all these other things. And that's really what trades end up being sometimes, and scoopers end up being sometimes. They have access to limited information sometimes, unnamed sources, and some of it's true, but enough of it sometimes is not, to the point where it kind of like takes the credibility out of it. So trade scoopers saying stuff while there's an ongoing major is getting annoying. Yeah. That last major they were, remember the last, that's exactly why you're 100%. Remember everybody who said Hamada, they were going to keep Hamada around forever and Sarnoff and all that. And I was saying, even going back to Enosh's show, there's no fucking way they're going to keep those people around. Nobody in that organization was going to keep coming around. Those people helped take a $74 billion company to the point where the pimple popper owner guy could buy it. It's a $43 billion company when Discovery made their move. So I'm not keeping any of those people. So yeah, but people are like, oh, you just want Snyderverse to come back. I'm like, no, I mean, I do, but that has nothing to do with those people getting fired. Their resumes dictated that they needed to be moved on. So yeah, but I agree there. My advice, well, that's good advice to give anybody doing anything. So yeah. Elseworlds multiverse. I think that because Marvel has driven the word multiverse into the ground, even though DC created the multiverse, I think Elseworlds, because now we got Elseworlds stuff coming back again now. Elseworlds is a brand that's been around for 30 years. That is a brand that is a name and brand that is exclusive to DC. Multiverse is ambiguous. Anybody could have picked it up and taken it. Nobody can take Elseworlds. Elseworlds is not only is it trademark, but it's what DC has done with Elseworlds, Gotham by Gaslight, Kingdom Come. So yeah, I think Elseworlds needs to be, and that logo for Elseworlds needs to be everywhere. Son of William, have you seen Fall of the House of Usher? Just started, but heard some crazy things. Are you talking about? I've seen older movies. Are you talking about a new movie, Fall of the House of Usher? I mean, I saw one decades ago. I haven't seen a recent one. Is there a recent one? Damn it, man. I think Bruno Mars is up there. Bruno Mars is in a lot of stuff. He's an Indian. He's an excellent producer too. I'm just waiting for TNA to get some TV deals. Well, they have. They're working on it. And they've gone. They actually go to Australia too. So there you go. How you doing, Bell? What's going on? I don't know if JCW is going to get TV deals. I don't know. And to be honest with you, for them, a lot of what they, a lot of these wrestling companies got big online too. I mean, we didn't have YouTube and streaming back when I was growing up. So you had to have a TV deal. It wasn't just her writing. They saw the movie. They actually, the investors saw the movie and didn't think that it was worth putting in the theaters, that it was good. Also, not only did they think it was bad, it didn't line up with what their vision of DC was. Even before they hired James Gunn, they had a vision. They wanted to compete with Marvel. They wanted their movies to be on the prestigious level of Marvel. And what they saw in Batgirl was not on that level. It might have been good for something else in a different era, but for where they wanted to go after they just dropped $43 billion and much more in accumulated debt, where they wanted to take DC was in a much higher place than what they saw was represented on through Batgirl. So it's not necessarily she did a horrible job. It's just, like I said, you have new ownership. They had a new vision, and that project didn't match their vision. Yeah, Elseworlds are cool. And like I said, we have Elseworlds, we have Absolute Universe, we have, like I said, DC is at its best when it's using all of DC. Yeah, WB from 2017 to 2020 can decide what direction to take DC direction. Basically, rudderless ship. William, I'm watching a TV show of Hall of House Usher from Netflix. I don't know, based on real. Oh, okay. I have not seen that. Jose, did you know Woe Is Me, but New Zealand doesn't have Paramount Plus? We still have to pay for you. Ooh, wow. I mean, probably, what is something? ISP? Get an ISP? Or what is it? Well, not ISP, but VPN. I'm sorry, VPN. So I got a New Zealander in there, and I had two Aussies in here, man. We still need to get Erin. Erin says she's going to swim from Australia to New Zealand. All right, guys. I think we are gonna wrap it up there. Everybody got everything off their chest. Any more questions? This is your time. We got a few more minutes. This is your time. I'll pretty much everything's on the table. I'll answer it as best I can. Like I said, I try to keep up on news. I try to keep on up on entertainment news, but every now and then one slips through. So. Dan, man, plus the plans for DC at that time, Batgirl, Michael Keaton, Batman, Sasha Calle were sort of painted them in the corner. Yeah, I would like to see. You know what? Here's the thing. If James Gunn explores these dimensions and gets to the point where he can do what Marvel's about to do, you may see a Batgirl. Who knows? You saw that horrific Superman with Nicolas Cage in The Flash, which every time I think that's we dodged a major bullet there, and that's nothing against Nicolas Cage, Academy Award winning actor, top tier actor of his generation, but I think he looked awful in that costume in that movie. I cannot imagine that in motion. And then when we saw it, I'm like, oh, that just was awful. I don't want to see that. I hope for the sake of the prestige of what they're trying to do with Superman, no matter who's doing it, that movie doesn't see the light of day. Because I don't think that, to me, that I feel the same way about the look of that movie. If that's what's consistent with what they're putting out, as the people thought about Batgirl, if it's not where you're taking the brand, then yeah, you should never see that again. I don't know if it's 10%. I do know there's a percentage stake that was part of them getting their original TV deal on TNT. That's not uncommon, by the way. There are other federations that are, that did it that way. All right, thank you, and that's about it, guys. It's about right by 1:00, so we've been going for about an hour and 9 minutes. Hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys got everything off your chest. If you have any more things you would like me to answer, you can go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and we'll talk about it there. The next time you will see us, we will have a themed show, a list show, some type of show on Thursday. And we'll probably have a more topical show. That'll be, like I said, the topical show of the week. And then Saturday, we will be continuing our trip through 1986, 1996. You know, any of these anniversaries that were going on. But like I said, there's just enough in 1986 to take up the rest of the year. I think I'm thinking this Saturday is going to be Labyrinth. One of them is going to be Labyrinth. And as far as albums go, I'm thinking Raising Hell by Run DMC, because I think that was released in 1986. So we'll look at it. I'll do some more studying. I will have the show up a lot sooner than the afternoon of the show, though, because I think that's a lot easier for you guys to to carve out your time and make time to come watch us. So all right, Royal Rumble is around the corner. It's good, even if it isn't good. Yeah, Royal Rumble is one of my favorite WWE ones, because it's the only thing that I can really not predict anymore. You know, that's where you start seeing people come out of anywhere. People saying Chris Claremont's an X-Men. Chris Jericho will pop up there. All due respect to just Chris Jericho, there was a time where I cared where he popped up. He's 55 years old. He had a great career, but he's not somebody that moves needles. Powerhouse Hobbs might be there, who knows? So, yeah, that's a bit. That's about it. As far as like TNA goes, I would like to see AJ Styles win the TNA title one more time. Other than that, all right, guys, we will see you, I mean, if Brad, if Brad takes some cough syrups and his Flintstone vitamins, Brad will be with me on Thursday night. Other than that, have a good night. Stay safe. Stay warm. I know some of these places are cold, and stay nerdy. And we will see you Thursday night, 11:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye-bye.